All right, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. All right, couple of announcements. First of all, about the exams. We have an exam, on Friday morning? No, we don't. Let's see, I'm thinking about my pre-calc class. Yeah, never mind. We don't have an exam coming up. We just had one. So here's the deal. You asked for less problems. So when there's less problems, you have to be careful to answer the questions correctly. Otherwise, the percentage isn't going to be as good as if there were more problems. For example, if I only gave 4 questions, that means each question is worth 25 points. So if you missed one question with 4, your grade would be a 75%. So that's why you see if you miss a problem, that's why you see a drastic change in percentage, because the less problems there are, the more problems you have to get correct, because the percentage can be damaged. Also, when I input grades to Zangle, give me a little bit of time to find the errors. So what's happening is I'll input a grade and possibly, I haven't looked at what you want me to look at, and I'm getting all kinds of remind messages. Give me a couple days. I'm really busy, and I input them on Zangle, but I have to double check them. And lots of times you're already sending me a message before I have the opportunity to look at them again. So just give me a couple days, to look and find the errors. Okay, so this morning, all the teachers were in a meeting, and what we were looking at are student responses from the student forum on distance learning. And specifically, we're looking at what students had to say about being at home during distance learning, and what students had to say about the teachers and what teachers could be doing better. So I really appreciated that meeting. I really appreciated hearing from the students. So a couple things for you. Remember that I'm not a mind reader. I'm not from the Friends Network. If you feel like something's not right or could be better, like for example, I'm going too fast, you're getting too many problems, whatever it is, you should definitely say something to me. Send me a remind, either meet with me, set up a virtual meeting or something. But if you don't say something to me, I'll never have the opportunity to respond or to let you know why I'm doing what I'm doing or change what I'm doing. So, I want you to know that I do look at the number of problems that I give you. So I don't just say, well, I'm going to assign 1,000 problems and who cares about their life. I am teaching 3 days a week. I'm used to teaching 5 days a week. And I think part of the problem is you not managing your time efficiently, because I am cognizant of the number of problems that I'm assigning, and I feel like you should be able to do them in time allotted. So maybe it's a time, part of it, I'm not saying that's the whole problem, but part of the problem is the time management problem on your end of it. Okay, also, I noticed the past few days, there's been a problem with the videos being uploaded to YouTube. I noticed by accident that my lessons, I'm a little thumbnail and you can't see me on a big screen. He told me this. It would have been nice if somebody was absent who watched the video, said, hey, Ms. Birch, your videos are messed up, but nobody said anything to me. So the last few days recordings are messed up. I did contact WebEx. We are actually testing it out now to make sure that my recordings are going to be good, but please speak up. If in my recordings you see me as a little thumbnail, I need to know about that so that I can fix the problem. Okay, so the radical practice is due tonight, and the solving equations by factoring in square roots, I actually posted the answers on Classroom, and we're going to be doing a review with that today in a different way. A lot of students told me they like this. I wish I could do what we're going to do today more often, but unfortunately I have to spend a lot of time teaching since I'm not with you that much. One comment about the answer document for solving by factoring in square roots. The answer document has some solutions in decimals. We're not writing decimals. So if you get solutions and you want to put them in the calculator to see if it matches those decimal solutions, that's fine, but we're not writing decimal solutions. So make sure you give me exact answers in those when you're doing those problems. All right, so before we get started, does anybody have any questions about the radicals? So here's what we're going to do. Grab a piece of paper. So you can either do it in your notes or on some scratch paper. Here's what we're going to do. This is problem number 1. What's going to happen is I'm a problem, and then I'm going to send you to your Math Wizard teams, and you will have 10 minutes to solve the problem by factoring and square root method. All right? So I'm going to write a problem up. You're going to leave your WebEx tab open on the top because you're going to come back. Okay? So you're going to come back in about 10 minutes. I'll tell you when to come back. And you're going to work the problem I'm going to put up. You're going to work it 2 ways, by solving by factoring and solving by square root. Now, because I'm putting you on a time limit, you're going to be forced to work with each other. And you're going to have to talk and work out loud. You should have the same steps. You should be talking through the problem. And we don't have a lot of time to waste. So please do not work individually. Okay? All right. So it's 12:37. Let's see. 37:40. Okay. I'm going to see you back in WebEx at 12:45. All right, so you're going to go to your Math Wizard teams. You're going to work this problem 2 different ways, and I will see you back at this meeting at 12:45. So write that down, 12:45. Okay, I'll see you later. All right, gonna wait a second, see if we can get everybody back in the classroom. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hello.
All right, now, one thing I wanted you to notice is that the teams that were truly working together, they were done in 1 minute. They talked, they got it, they did it at every step, done. Those of you who work separately, there was all kinds of confusion. What were your answers? What do we do? What are the steps? What's going on? So this next time when I send you, please try to work together. I'm trying to make a point here that if you work it together, it's going to be way more effective than if you work it separately. So please stop. All right. Okay. So let me show you this problem. So the assignment was to work it 2 different ways. So first of all, you're gonna solve this by factoring, and you have to remember the steps. What do I do when I'm solving by factoring? Well, you have to set it equal to 0. You have to make sure it's in standard form in descending orders of x, and then you're going to try to factor. Well, what factoring method is this? Isn't this difference of squares? So now we're going to use the 0 product property. What makes this 0? -4. What makes that 0? 4, and we're done. So I asked you to solve this problem using square roots. Well, you don't set it equal to 0. So you have to remember the steps. I cannot remember them for you. So the steps for square roots is isolate the square. It is isolated. What do we do now? We take the square root of both sides, and don't forget plus or minus. So an x gets to come out and a 4 gets to come out. So you have 2 solutions, -4 and 4, and you're done. Okay, so we're gonna try this again, and I'm gonna observe the groups to see if you are truly working together. Just a reminder, somebody wants to state the problem. Somebody needs to answer questions. What do we do? What do we write? What do we do next? And by the way, if you're having technical problems right now going back and forth, make sure you let me know so that we never do this again. So I might need to know what kind of technical issues are going on. And if you saw my announcement this morning or earlier, I said that they just received hotspots. So a lot of you need to get to the high school and get free internet before they run out. So we're going to do the second problem the same way. You are going to solve it using factoring, and you're going to solve it using square roots. And once again, I'm going to send you to the Math Wizard teams, and we're going to try to do the problem quickly. All right, you are going to come back to this meeting at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock, write it down. I will see you back here in WebEx. Okay. 1 minute. Let's make it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That was a lot better. I noticed that the groups finished a lot faster that time. So next time I'm going to give you less time to see if you can finish in the time I give you. To solve this by factoring, listen, guys, you want to divide both sides by 2 to simplify. So remember, you always want to simplify. So you have 2x squared minus 18 equals 0. You're going to divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. 0 divided by any number except 0 is 0. All right, so we have it set equal to 0. We have it in descending order. Now we want to use one of the 7 factoring methods, and we're going to use the difference of squares. So this would be x plus 3 times x minus 3. What makes this 0 negative 3? What makes that 0 3? Square roots. We want to simplify right away. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. But we're not setting it equal to 0. With square roots, we isolate the square by adding 9 to both sides. Then with square root, we're taking the square root of both sides and we're putting plus and minus. Don't forget plus and minus, you have 2 solutions. X is equal to plus or minus 3 times 3. A 3 comes out. So your solutions are negative 3 and 3. Now let me ask you a question. Are these ever going to be different?
No.
No. They're going to be the same. So this time I'm going to give you less time. So you're going to have to really work together. The conversations are a lot better. Correcting each other as you talk, so that's good. So this is problem number 3. 2x squared equals 8. All right, listen carefully. I'm only going to give you, let's see, it's 1 o'clock, so I'm only going to give you to 110. So 110, gotta come back. All right, so 110. All right, welcome back. We're going to solve this two different ways. And remember, you always want to simplify before you do anything. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. Then for factoring, we're going to set it equal to 0. So this would be x squared minus 4. And once you get it set equal to 0, then you're going to use one of the 7 factoring methods. In this case, the difference of squares. So your 2 solutions, what makes that 0, -2, and 2? Over here for square roots, we're going to simplify right away, divide by 2, divide by 2. With square root method, we do not set it equal to 0. We isolate the square, take the square root of both sides, and don't forget plus or minus. Remember, I cannot remember the steps for you. I can tell you the steps, but you're the one that's going to have to study and remember the steps. So x is equal to plus or minus 2. So your 2 solutions are -2 and 2, which match with that. Okay, now, in Google Classroom, I put a list of the solving methods, and it's under materials, and I just want to share this with you. So I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully you can see this. This right here are the 5 quadratic solving methods. So, and the advantages and disadvantages of each one. So, we can solve by graphing, but graphing is tedious and it's not always exact. What if it crosses the x-axis at 7/8? You would never see that, graphing it by hand. Now, if graphing calculator, sure, use the graphing calculator. But graphing by hand is not a good method. Solving by factoring is awesome. You know, this is easy, but it doesn't always work. It only works for perfect problems. And then solving by square roots, that's a great method too, but it doesn't work when you have an x term. So if you notice, all these problems, they only have an x squared. They don't have an x. Square root method doesn't work with an x. And then the last 2 methods, these methods always work. But the problem is they're time consuming and not always easy. Like solving using could take 9 steps every time. We don't want to solve with 9 steps every time. So one time, one of the custodians at school was going to San Bernardino Valley College and taking a math class. And he said, you know, Roxanne, I don't understand why teachers teach all these methods when you can always use the quadratic formula. And I said, you're right, but the quadratic formula could suck up a lot of time. Because if it takes 9 steps every single time, why would you do that when you can use factoring or square roots? So that's the thing. I'm going to teach you these methods. We've only done 2 of them. Look at them, and then you're going to have to make a decision on what method you're going to. Oh, all right. So I'm going to share my screen. Do you guys want to ask me any questions about anything? All right, now I know that this was highly effective. I wish we could do this all the time. But what you have to notice is I didn't teach today. And so we cannot do this all the time. I wish we could. You know, if we had a double block, we could. But I wish we could do it all the time, but we can't. But here's the good news. You guys can always go into these teams and do this on your own. So you guys can work together and so anyhow, I hope you have a great day. Make sure you get started on this assignment. You should get, when I'm teaching something, you should be working on this assignment. Okay? All right. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Okay, have a great day. If you want to hang out, you can. I'm going to turn off the recorder.